Hello, my name is Doug Young, and I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer of Lennox International's residential segment. Safety is a core value to all of us, and it's a top priority to have a safe and healthy workplace. As a company, over the past 5 years, our safety record has improved dramatically. And we have a goal of no recordable or lost workday injuries. We're making great progress toward it, but it takes everyone. It takes a team to be successful at this. And so today, I challenge each of you to look out for yourself and each other. Stop Work Authority is a process that empowers each employee to be part of keeping Lennox safe. I encourage you to recognize the hazards, speak up, and help your fellow employees as they go about their daily job. Because when they leave and they go home, we want them to be in better shape than when they came to work that day. With your involvement and your diligence, we can make Lennox a better and safer place to work.
Welcome to this short course on Stop Work Authority. This is a really simple idea. It means that any of us, all of us in Lennox facilities, no matter what our job is, no matter how long we've been with the company, and this includes contractors and visitors, we all have the authority to stop work if we see something unsafe going on. It's not only authority, it's also our right and obligation. The right to have a safe place to work and the obligation to protect our teammates, ourselves, and the company. Simple, right? Here's a quick question. Take a guess. A recent study surveyed a bunch of 16%, 33%, 52%, or 91%. Select one. That's right. 52% say they won't do anything if they see an unsafe situation. Hard to believe. So what would you do if you saw an unsafe act? Do you feel you have the authority, the right, or the power to stop it? Let's be very clear. At Lennox, you do. And what's more, we expect you to do it. The safety of you and your teammates is the most important thing at Lennox, and anytime you do not feel safe, you need to say or do something about it. At Lennox, we call it Stop Work Authority, or SWA, and it's not just a policy, it's our culture around here. SWA allows anyone to stop any activity at any time if they feel it's not safe. Let's look at some examples. For each of the following short videos, you'll be asked to identify an unsafe situation or task, if there is one. Do you see a safety issue here? One person attempting to perform a two-person lift? That's right, this lift requires two people. Did you know that nearly 75% of all workplace injuries result from lifting objects that are too heavy and using poor lifting technique? Keep your back straight, lift with your legs, and don't twist while lifting. We'll cover this in detail in another module. Is there a safety issue here? Forklift too close to a pedestrian? You got it. No moving equipment should ever be driven within 3 feet of a pedestrian. But really, both the driver and the pedestrian are at fault here. Everyone needs to be aware. Is there a safety issue here? Unapproved cutting tool and bad cutting technique? That's right, 2 issues. We should only use approved cutting tools which have retractable blades, and you should never cut toward yourself. Is there a safety issue here? Forklift too close to a pedestrian? Missing PPE? Got it. He needs gloves to handle sheet metal, and she's doing the right thing to stop him. Make sure you're always wearing the correct personal protective equipment for the job. Is there a safety issue here? Guys in suits should not be wandering around unattended. You got it. There is no issue here. The guy in the suit misunderstood what the red light on the outside meant. It means that people are working inside the trailer and it's not ready to be moved. However, he was completely correct in stopping the work. He thought there was a safety issue and he acted to stop the work. Let's go into the why, when, and how of Stop Work Authority. Why we use it. Very simply, it's because Lennox cares. We care about you, your teammates, and any person in a Lennox facility. We believe that safety is not a priority, but a core value. Priorities can be ranked and changed. Values cannot. Stop Work Authority was developed because we feel the best person to recognize an unsafe situation is often not the person doing the job. People not performing the task usually see things from a different angle and may be in a better position to see a hazard and point it out. Stop Work Authority means there are more eyes looking out for your safety every day. When we use it. Stop Work Authority should be used anytime you see a task or job being performed that you feel poses an immediate risk or danger to yourself or another person. If you are unsure or think it might be unsafe, then be safe and use Stop Work Authority. Here's another very important thing for you to understand. Under no circumstances will anyone exercising Stop Work Authority and stopping an unsafe job in good faith be subject to discipline or ridicule. How we use it. Stop Work Authority involves 4 steps. 1. Stop the job immediately. Approach the people involved and get their attention when it's safe to do so. Ask them to stop or display the timeout signal. 2. Hold a conversation to evaluate the hazard and reach an agreement. Evaluate the hazard together. Discuss the concerns you might have. Discuss the potential consequences or outcome of the hazard. Agree on how to mitigate the hazard. 3. Make changes to work practices as necessary, such as gathering tools or personal protective equipment, modifying the load, cleaning up the hazard, moving out of the way, obtaining more help. 4. Resume working safely. Continue with the task and thank each other for the commitment to safety. You've heard the saying, if you see something, say something. At Lennox, it's if you see something, do something. It's everyone's right and obligation to stop a job or task for safety reasons. Again, when you do use Stop Work Authority, there will be no discipline, ridicule, or negative action toward you if you stopped work because you honestly believe that a hazardous condition existed. We at Lennox are committed to safety and Stop Work Authority and want everyone to feel empowered to make safety the most important priority each and every day.
Hello, my name is Gary Bedard and I'm the Vice President and General Manager for Lennox Residential. And I'd like to take a few moments to talk to you about our new Stop Work Authority that we're implementing throughout our warehouses in North America. Stop Work Authority very simply says that any employee or any visitor to our warehouses or distribution centers is empowered to stop work at any time when they see an unsafe act occurring. And I want to give you a personal anecdote that talks about the importance of reaching out and stopping an unsafe or a perceived unsafe act. When I first started out my career, I actually worked out of a factory, and we had this little office that was almost like a mobile home. And I was sitting in there one day, and I heard the engine to a truck being repeatedly gunned, if you will. And I looked out of my window, and there were these two gentlemen that were attempting to move something from one end of the factory to the other. And they had an older truck, and the muffler on this truck was beet red, and sparks were coming and dropping on the ground. And this particular muffler was perhaps a foot or so away from the gas tank. I was immediately alarmed. My heart rate shot up, and I ran out the door and shouted them down and talked to them about what was going on with the muffler. I was assuming they didn't know. They were aware of what was happening with the muffler, and they came back to me and said, this happens all the time, and it'll be just fine. And I said, no, it won't be just fine. You're right next to a gas tank, and there's plenty of people in this office, and if that truck blows up, it's not just the two of you that we've got to worry about, it's everybody else in the office as well. Needless to say, they were able to calm down, and even though they meant well, they did not necessarily understand they had conditioned themselves to this unsafe condition, and they were willing to live with it over time. It took an outsider to look into the situation and say, hey, this really isn't safe, consider this or consider that. So I think it's an important thing for us to have throughout our warehouses. From time to time, we all get conditioned to the work that we do every day, and we may not notice that we're stepping over a pallet or doing something else every day, which could lead to an accident later if it is uncorrected. And that's why everyone has a responsibility for making sure that we all come to work, participate for our customers and for Lennox, but we all go home safely. So thanks again, and I appreciate your use of this policy.
Thanks for completing the course. You'll now be presented with a short quiz to test your understanding. You must answer 4 of the 5 questions correctly to pass.